First of all, just opening up, 1111 showed up. So this is definitely a wish come true. I'm seeing for Gaia herself when it comes to the return to this cycle, because we're existing in a fractal holographic, I'm seeing, simulation, but holographic construct, okay? And so if you know about the fractal nature of reality, then the earth herself moves through cycles, okay? Humanity moves through cycles, and we are now at the culmination point where every cycle up until now has been leading us back home. It's been leading us back inwards. And the message is that we are definitely at some type of threshold. And I'm going to talk to you about 𝓂𝓲𝓬𝓮𝓷𝓭 basket, which is actually happening during July. We're already feeling this being activated now. And essentially what it's doing, I guess the analogy that would bring up for this is it's creating in 2026 the container that is going to be extremely highly conducive. You can think about it as a greenhouse. I'm seeing 2026 be a greenhouse for us collectively, where the seeds that we're planting in regards to hearing, nourishing, and supporting the soul's journey, and how that translates and reflects in the physical, tangible experience, are highly conducive. Like, your intentions are being highly supported during this time. So we'll notice during 𝓂𝓲𝓬𝓮𝓷𝓭 basket, just that, if the cycles that humanity moves through and civilizations move through reach a point of no return, and that's what I'm seeing. It kind of reaches a point where we can no longer continue holding the structures, or I'm hearing the structures can no longer maintain or uphold themselves in the way that they once were. And anything that's going to be clearing during this time is almost being held. I'm hearing you're being held as well, like belief systems, ways of thinking and feeling about your life experience is clearing during this time, and you're being held as you evolve into higher expression. And I'm being shown specifically when I do Qigong in the ocean and I close my eyes and I go into flow state, and you just reach this assemblage point where you take on the physical expression of your soul. All right, there's this dance that happens as the eternal being enduring these temporal moments through time. And what I was seeing and the message that was coming through is that there's a higher intelligence moving through each and every one of us. And that higher intelligence is guiding your next steps forward. And you may not understand how it's going to look until we look back in hindsight. But there is this organic growth and creation that happens through returning back to our fluid and formless like nature, and how that desires to express, experience, and maneuver its way through the human experience, all right, through I'm hearing the human's full potential. So with 𝓂𝓲𝓬𝓮𝓷𝓭 basket, it's essentially creating this collective greenhouse, not just for yourself and your own subjective journey, but these conditions are essentially extraordinary. This is known as a very auspicious, I guess, transit, because it's almost like it's a cradle, right? So it's the birth of a new era, it's the emergence of a new you, and you're the one that gets to choose what it is that you want to cultivate or what seeds you want to plant during this time in your life that are going to support or allow you to experience the fruition or culmination point of that. Okay, so some history on 𝓪𝓵𝓵 is during his lifelong research, the planetary contractions that culminated in 2020, and we all know what happened in 2020, marked one of the great collective turning points of our time, a period where many long-term planetary cycles converged, and this reflects a season of compression, challenge, and profound transformation. So he basically explains this as humanity going through contraction periods and also expansion periods. Those contractions consist of things like, deep turmoil, pandemics, and, a bunch of other, I'm hearing moments within a historical timeline that definitely leave a mark in a mark that then becomes a reference point to remind us how far it is that we've come. Okay. So these are also marks that are left on your historical timeline that you can look back to and admire how far it is that you've come. I'm hearing only look back to admire how far it is that you've come. Anyway, he talks about Now, as we move into July of 2026, those same cycles have spread into rare patterns of sextiles and trines. Sextiles bring about invitations. So nothing will come of it unless you choose to actively, co-create as I'm hearing a fertilizer. So it feels like things are extremely fertile. Your seeds are on fertile ground. It reminds me of the tarmac energy. And trines, which bring about gifts as well, forming what Barbeau described as one of the most beautiful configurations of the 21st century. Rather than another contraction, this marks a crescendo into expansion. So you're witnessing that expansion. It's like the womb after conception and the pressure of the previous cycle that has created the conditions for something entirely new to be born. I'm also seeing something entirely new being born through you as well. So trust that process when it comes to what it is that you're birthing into creation. Barbeau saw these harmonious alignments as creating a supportive container for constructive rebuilding, renewal, and the beginning of a new chapter for humanity. Whether collectively or personally, this isn't about planets doing the work for us, but instead it's about entering into a season where growth becomes possible. Now, the message that I saw this as, and I think a great analogy would be two cards from the tarot. One of them would be the Empress, of course, right? Because she represents the conception of an idea, an enterprise, the birth of a new you, but something that you've been growing and nurturing behind the scenes when it comes to your inner realm. And I'm hearing the shifts that have been happening in the subtle realms when it comes to the architecture of reality itself. And I'm just seeing geometry beginning to return to more of a harmonious, fluid state instead of this asymmetrical, inharmonious. I'm hearing pattern recognition that we've been moving through. So we're able to recognize patterns within our own subjective experience and also collectively that is just not super conducive or supportive or productive for what your highest potentials look like. And I'm hearing opening yourself up to those vast portions of potential that are readily available for you to experience. And I didn't see the Empress just pregnant, right? The Empress is pregnant with a star. That was like the analogy that was coming through. So this is a hope, it's renewal, it's a vision for the future, but it's conditions that are being sown within your life experience so that what births itself through you, or I'm seeing how consciousness travels into this new event where a new space begins to emerge or take form around you, is a mirrored reflection of this celestial light being that you are. Okay, and hearing how it bursts itself over and over again in the physical realm. You get to experience the act of transformation as you evolve past your perceived limitations. All right. So the Empress, let me go ahead and read this for you. The Empress in this card is also known as a peacock. And as you can see, it looks like she's kind of opening herself up to a gateway there. I'm hearing she is the gateway. All right. So the peacock and the Empress talks about nurturing, merging opposites. You come upon a doorway in the middle of a shallow pool of water. The peacock sits atop the door and its feathers cascade down with eyes that seem to follow every move. As you lock eyes with the bird, a feeling of ease washes over you. It is the gatekeeper between the physical world and the spirit plane. Yeah, because if you think about that, the womb is a portal of creation, essentially. It's how we bring life into the world. And I'm seeing something that I'm hearing tapping into those reserves within you, that potential. It gives you assurance that you are now moving forward, and it will lead you into another fertile world. The pulsing of colors in the door calls you towards it as you step through, unsure of what is to come. Again, you're not sure how everything is going to weave together, but I'm hearing it does so masterfully. All right, you're going to be looking back at the masterpiece of what you are experiencing right now in your life's journey as a work in progress. Okay. The peacock lives between two worlds, and it's a reminder that it's possible to find happy balance between things like work and love, grounded and spiritual. And this card is about nurturing yourself and finding peace in the world that you live in. When you see the peacock in a reading, it can also be representative of an increasingly strong bond to the earth or a need to reconnect with it. I'm hearing the earth and her cycles, and you as an expression or an extension of the earth herself, and the cycles in which you're moving through. This could be a card that speaks about great unions of unlikely things, and it asks us to keep an open mind whenever possible. All right, if she's birthing the star, this talks about reassurance. So this could be a reassuring message for you. This is also the veil. So again, the veil is becoming incredibly thin between dimensions. And the thing is, existing in different dimensions are different archetypal expressions of you. It's how consciousness collapses itself into form, but it's all one higher intelligence experiencing itself through many mediums. And I'm just seeing the veil between dimensions becoming thinner, okay? I'm hearing how these different octaves within you are able to work together. I'm kind of seeing a main architect and then not the worksman, but the one who is actually going to tangibly create and build this. And that could be your third dimensional shadow that you're casting into this terrestrial plane, and how the higher intelligence, I'm hearing, becomes the octave of you seated at a higher level of understanding about your life's journey, and then trusting where I'm hearing where you're being guided and why you're being guided there. Even if you feel like you're kind of blindfolded in regards to the how and the when something's going to unfold, there is just this pure remembrance that it happens this way. Okay, so this is almost invisible, and you feel a light veil cascading down your being. Knowing anywhere could be better than where you came from. You push on, hoping for somewhere better on the other side, and you emerge and notice a light. And then more light starts floating around you, brightening up the space that you're in. You start to feel a little lighter as well. The colors around you have returned, and so has your will. The veil is a gentle reminder that hope is sometimes invisible. This card is a beacon of hope and is arriving or soon on its way. Hope can come in many forms and can feel as easy as flipping a switch. You'll be surprised how drastically things can go from dark to light, like a comet blazing across the night sky. Let yourself feel hopeful and have faith in the future. And let yourself feel hopeful, and your faith in the future will surely return. Look for small joys and remember the brightness of the sun and the magic of the stars. I'm seeing this as even like your creations and the things that you're birthing into the physical material plane. Again, you can possess these possessions, let's say, and I'm hearing this is just through your co-creation and innate experience, right? Through experiential participation, where you get to experience the act of creations, but don't allow these possessions to possess your entire state of being. And when I say that, I mean, it's less about possessing the things inside of the greenhouse that are growing, and instead understanding that you are that container, you are the greenhouse itself that holds the experience. Does that make sense? You hold every experience in this plane. Every experience is held within you. I'm hearing it's a refraction mechanism, so you may not see it clearly while inside of the dimensional field, unless you see life through the heart space. And in that return to your, I'm hearing innate, not just perspective, but shifting the frameworks and how you're viewing your oneness as the universe is one single being. One emanation, difference in only seeming. We all emerge from this light and we will all return back to this light. I'm hearing we sprung forth as like data collectors, and we're able to retrieve and extract that data, and also allow that higher intelligence to move through us as we navigate this next shift. Okay? I'm seeing a lot green right now, like a lot green. It looks like the whole sun of the beach looks green. And so you could be seeing the physical, conscious, tangible experience through the higher heart. I'm hearing through the interconnected web. And in that, you'll ultimately find liberation. Because this place is a training ground for consciousness. But in the end, the only real thing is love. That's the only thing that's real. And so that sits above all else. That unity consciousness sits above all else. I'm hearing everything is born from that place. Everything is born from love. Everything that's born from fear, everything that emerges from fear, is the beautiful illusion into remembering what always was. I'm hearing the originating force. Fear was born so that we could experience the journey back to love, back to awareness. I'm hearing under the veil of forgetting. That's the difference between Maya, living under the illusion of separation and experiencing this realm through suffering, and Maya evolves into Leela, which is playing as a divine being inside of your own creation. And so that is Leela. Play, you divine being, would be my message. So, with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you right there. I just wanted to get a quick message on Barbo's basket because it's definitely a celestial configuration taking place. As we know, this does form a very specific harmonic geometry within our skies, and the movement within the cosmos is inseparable to the shifts that we see occurring on this planet Earth. And these are just archetypal systems that are localized to this universe, as we branch out into other solar systems. There are different kind of archetypal expressions that form, but I'm hearing, are the body in which encompasses all. So can you stand in the center of the wheel, recognizing yourself as all and nothing simultaneously? Because that observer within you is greater than the experience within space-time that I'm hearing may be moving through you, and that appears localized. But there only ever is the eternal now, and consciousness just moving into events that are already existing within the field. And so, in many ways, it's kind of going beyond time. So, with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you right there. I'm going to go because I'm going to probably hop in the ocean again and then set sail. But yeah, have a beautiful July. If you made it to this point, comment down below what is the greenhouse? What are you going to be planting inside of the greenhouse? What do you feel like the greenhouse is inviting a particular area of your life to, let's say, blossom fast? Or do you feel like it's all areas? I'd be interested to know how this translates into your life experience. So, with that being said, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, do consider subscribing because we'd love to have you around. Fast and ready details are also down below. And yeah, until next time, bye!
Clouds in the sky.